I took part to a discussion, very interesting one, which was led by black people, and they were complaining that recently Western media is emasculating black men. And I thought that this was just because of Velma, the way they portrayed Shaggy. And I have to say, I have pity of the people that partook in that conversation because it means they must have seen that atrocity. I mean, moments of their lives have been taken away and they will never get them back. But no, it's not just Shaggy. It turns out it is a trend that has happened to the point where people are taking notice and they are criticizing it. And my argument was that I think all men in Western media in the last 5 years have been emasculated. But then I was told, no, that's not true because white men are the punching bag. Like, they're usually the butt ends of jokes. And it's kind of true because if you have movies that are based on representation rather than relatability, then if you make jokes at the expense of a minority, it's viewed as, you know, that particular character represents the entire minority class. So, like, for example, if you make jokes about Finn, then you're actually joking about the entire demographic. So, an easy way out is what you see in Velma is to make fun of white people, because no one is going to complain about that. And if someone complains about that, then it's easy to laugh them away. But it is an interesting trend that, yes, like, it does seem that black men in the recent media have been emasculated. And the question is, okay, so how would a masculine black man look like? And it's a good thing they asked, because it would probably look like this. I would consider this a good example of what a strong masculine character should look like. He's very honorable. He is violent. Green Lantern is violent, but he only uses violence when appropriate, which is to defend others or defend himself. And yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I really liked this character. Didn't have the comic book Serial Mania, but I did see Justice League, was one of my favorite characters. Another example, Cyborg. Black Panther is indeed a more masculine character. So it's not like you do not have examples of black masculine characters that are done well. But recently, when it comes to media, it does seem that this type of character is completely lacking. And I think that the main reason for this is that the people who make these films, they do believe in stereotypes. Like, in their mind, they do believe strongly in stereotypes. And they believe that it's their job in order to reverse those stereotypes. Like, in order to fix the bigotry in the world, you look at the stereotype and you reverse it in media. And I guess through the magic of Hollywood, the stereotype goes away. So, if you look at it, it makes sense. For example, what is the stereotype of women? In an action setting, where guns are flying and the killer is on the loose, the stereotype is that they're afraid. They scream. They hide behind the man. They don't partake into the combat. At least that's how the movies used to be. Not all of them, but the vast majority. So the solution is to reverse the stereotype. Now women can handle themselves. You have one woman, the femme fatale, which can beat up 20 guys with one hand behind her back, and the guys can be twice as large with her. That's what you see on Hollywood. They're oozing with toxic masculinity. They have short hair. They don't dress provocatively anymore. That's what you see in comic books. And in order to do that, the men have to look weaker, right? Because now you reverse the stereotype. Like, the man is strong. No, the man, you know, he is sweating. He is afraid. Right? He looks with grave concern. Right? In order to make the women more powerful, to have the contrast. That's why it's happening. Is to reverse the stereotypes. Now, when you look at what the movie creators think about black people, like, well, they look at the stereotype. It's like, oh, the gangster, the thug. Oh, so we need to reverse that. We need to change the perception. They're not strong anymore, right? They're not capable. I mean, look, this guy, he's not going to do anything. He's a kitty cat, right? So this is what they're trying to do. Now, what's interesting is that you have individuals that says, what's wrong with feminine men? Now, it would be interesting if we could poll the feminine men and see how many of them wouldn't want to be Chad. Like, how many of them wouldn't want to be the Green Lantern that I showed you before if given the opportunity? Like, if they had the genie in a bottle and you could go to the genie and say, hey, you got one wish. I want to be the Chad. How many of these feminine men wouldn't want to be that? I legitimately want to know, like, because I don't know. I don't know the answer. But it would be an interesting question, right? And if a lot of them want to, it would be nice if they had some role models. It would be nice if they had someone to emulate, right? Because, like, oh, well, this is what diversity is about, right? Representation. It would be nice if someone represent them, because at this point, when you look at movies, it's overflowing with this type of character. Right? So if you believe representation is important, and secondly, again, it's fine to have these characters. Like, I'm not saying these characters should not exist. But what I am saying is that when there is such a huge abundance of them, and you don't see them in any other media than from the United States. You don't see them in Japanese media. You don't see them. I mean, you know, when you think about anime, sure, you have like these character archetypes here and there. You know, they do exist in some animes, but it's not overflowing. It's not everywhere. It's not just this character that you see everywhere. You know, the timid guy with the little bow, dressed for corporation work, with glasses, looking innocent, looking very vulnerable. And again, it would be interesting if it would poll women, if this is what they want. Like, how many women prefer this type of man? I don't know the answer, right? But if it's a small percentage, most people, they want companionship. Like, most people don't want to be alone, and they would want the woman they like to be with them, right? To form a relationship. I'm not even talking about sex. I'm just talking about, like, bonding, you know, human companionship. It increases your chances, if you look at the statistics, to be more like the type of man that women desire than the type of man that you're comfortable with. This is an unfortunate truth, right? Like, if you happen to be, for example, this is not about the video, but like, if you happen to be a pervert, because that's you know, you like watching hentai, you like the succubi, the succubasu, you know, you like that shit. Well, you need to change when interacting with women, because they don't like men that like that shit, right? So this is how life is. I understand that the progressives, they desire, oh, no one should change. But they don't believe that, because if you ooze toxic masculinity, they definitely believe you should change, right? So even in that ideology, you have like certain standards that you need to live up to. And usually those standards are set by the opposite gender, more specifically by women. Because when you're in high school, you go through puberty, you look around, you want a girlfriend. What do? You don't know how to get one. So you look around and you see other colleagues of yours that do have a girlfriend. And you wonder, okay, well, what are they doing that works? Oh, well, this guy is a jock. He plays sports. He works out. Okay, well, maybe I need to play sports and work out. What about this guy? Oh, he's very charismatic. He's very funny. He's influential. He's got a lot of friends. Oh, well, maybe that's what I need to do. And that's pretty much how society works. It's not like the top down, the academics decide. The academics come in and like, no, you need to behave like such and such and such, because otherwise you need to change society, right? Like, you need to be the one that is yourself. I really hate this advice. Just be yourself. Who says that? Who says that? Just be yourself. Okay, and if you're a drooling pervert, is that a good advice? What if you're a lazy bum and you just don't want to get out of bed? No, that definitely worst advice is to be yourself. Let me know what you guys think, though, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.